What's going on, YouTube? JT Userborn here, and welcome to another edition of After the Movie. I'm currently in my theater parking lot right now. I just got done seeing the double feature of The Death and the Reign of Superman. Now, I'm very familiar with the Death of Superman storyline, not too familiar with the Reign of the Superman storyline. I was going to read it, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to go into this thing blind, and I was very satisfied with this, two-part movie adaptation. In fact, I think this is one of the best things that DC Animation has done. This pretty much rivals, I want to say this rivals Dark Knight Returns. Although, with Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, I felt like Part 1 was like the equivalent to Reign of the Superman, where it's, it's definitely good, but it's not as good as like the Death of Superman portion. Whereas, Part 2 was, the Death of Superman portion. Whatever makes sense, of this two-parter. So, yeah, so quick thoughts on Death of Superman. Very good. Way better than Superman Doomsday. Better than Batman vs. Superman. I felt like the action sequences in that were really strong. The writing was really strong, too. That was written by Peter J. Tomasi, who's been, on a roll with Superman comics and, Super Sons and all sorts of stuff. He's a really great comic book writer. So the first part, I was very, secure knowing this would be great. And then the second part, I don't know who wrote this one, but I know Sam Liu directed both parts. But the second part, The Reign of the Superman, was solid. So, Death of Superman, really great, really emotional, gets you all choked up at the end of the movie, so we all know how that happens. Superman gets killed by Doomsday, and then they set the stage for, The Reign of the Superman. So, you have Kon-El, who's fully 90s in this, which is great. You have the Eradicator, you have John Henry Irons, and you have Cyborg Superman. And basically, these new Supermen are showing up. Lex Luthor, obviously he's biologically created Kon-El. You got the Eradicator, and, you got the black suit Superman and stuff coming in here. And then you have the Cyborg Superman and his plan. I won't get into too deep of spoilers because I want you to kind of, if you're not familiar with the comic, or if you just kind of want to go in this thing blind, I won't really give away too many spoilers. But as somebody who didn't really read the Reign of Superman, I read Death of Superman, which was a pretty faithful, for the most part, adaptation. But this one, I'm not too familiar with that follow-up storyline. But I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought the voice cast was great. Rainn Wilson as Lex Luthor was like the standout for me. He was very, very funny. Like Lex Luthor's a real D-bag in this, but in a good way. This is what I felt like Lex Luthor should have been in Batman vs. Superman. There's a lot of really great egotistical bits that he has, and just some comedically funny Lex Luthor shit, which I loved. I mean, it's not it's not quite like the Clancy Brown Lex Luthor, where he's kind of he's menacing, but he's definitely but this Lex Luthor is just a dick. He's a pure dickhole, and he's great for it. Rainn Wilson, the real standout of this thing. A lot of great laughs. Some good laughs from the Justice League members. When they're in it, they're not in it too much. Because this is part of a shared universe, they are setting up some big events to come. I guess we'll get to spoilers at the very, very end. They're setting up some stuff with the future stuff to come. As far as the other characters go, Lois Lane is great. You definitely see her do some of the good reporting angle of her. Definitely see her different traits to her personality, like how she tries to get information and stuff. I really like this take on Lois. I think Rebecca Romijn did really solid, and her chemistry is obvious with Jerry O'Connell, who plays Superman, because obviously they're married. Cameron Jerome from Gotham voices Kon-El, and he's great. Connor Kent just cracks me up. He's definitely definitely has an ego to him, like Lex Luthor. He's been watching 90s sitcoms a lot, so he uses all sorts of 90s terminology, which is great. Yeah, he's really funny. He's funny in there too, and his personality, and that shines through in his performance. So definitely like Kon. I really want to see another Titans movie with Kon-El joining the team, although they reference the Teen Titans, but we don't necessarily see them in this movie, which was kind of a disappointment, because you got some references in the previous film, okay, if so-and-so's not here, where are the Teen Titans? I would have liked to have seen that, or what would have been perfect for me is if Connor Kent's, I can't get it, spoilers, but yeah, I don't want to get into spoilers. Other cast members, John Henry Irons, I think it was Cress Williams who voiced him, who was Black Lightning on the CW series. He's really good too. Overall, really good stuff. I just think the plot of Death of Superman is stronger than Reign of the Superman, because I'm going to have to get into spoilers here, but for the most part, solid stuff. I can't really get into too much without spoiling it, some of my issues with some of the motivations, but we'll get into it in a second. But anyways, if this movie's supposed to come out like I don't know, like tomorrow or Tuesday or something on digital, if you get the chance to check them both out, definitely watch Death of Superman before this one, because with the double feature in that, it really gets you emotionally invested into the storyline. Because like when I was watching Death of Superman, I was even getting choked up. I'm like, God damn, like this is fucking brutal. Like when Doomsday's going around like beating the shit out of people, like people are dying horrific deaths. I'm like, good God Almighty, this is violent. And I love it for it. And like that fight scene between Superman and Doomsday, and then when you find out the reason where Doomsday, why he was sent here in the first place, is actually really clever. Some things I actually wasn't really expecting going into the second part. So I liked being surprised by this thing. So I guess from this point onward, I'm going to get into spoilers. So go ahead and stop the video if you haven't seen it. But if you really don't care, or if you read the comic, I'd have to go and read Reign of the Superman. Spoilers ahead. So, all right. So we're in the spoiler section right now. It's revealed that Darkseid was the reason Doomsday was sent to Earth in the first place, as a ruthless assassin meant to kill Superman, which I thought was pretty cool. It tied back into elements of Justice League War where Darkseid wants payback. And I don't know who voiced Darkseid in this movie. I should have looked, but it sounded close. It almost sounded like Keith David, but I don't think it was him. But definitely better than the guy who voiced him in Justice League War, because he's like, Darkseid, yeah. But I'm like, I didn't really like that. Although nobody's going to top Michael Ironside as Darkseid. Like, I can handle other takes on, like, Lex Luthor and even Batman, but Michael Ironside's voice as Lex Luthor is so iconic and perfect. And I'm just like, nobody else can just top that. I almost just want Ironside to come back and voice him again, because Michael Ironside is so great as, Darkseid. He's fantastic. In terms of the plan, so, like, Cyborg Superman was Hank Henshaw. So if you watched the previous film, he was like, Superman will save us. He gets blasted off into space. Darkseid kind of takes him over and then uses his technology to like get inside his head and kind of turn him into Cyborg Superman. He has a hatred for Superman because he believes Superman would be there to save his wife and himself. But I didn't necessarily, I'll give it a better example of where it kind of works, where the villain hates the hero for like the death of someone. Well, Superman was nowhere around. Like, he wasn't like, because, like, he should be more pissed off at Darkseid more than anything, because Darkseid was the one who sent Doomsday, which is what destroyed his ship in outer space. So I don't get why he'd be so furious at Superman. I know he relies on Superman, but he should kind of understand that Superman's not going to be everywhere at once. He could have just been like, oh, well, Doomsday did this. But, like, even then, it just kind of, like, his motivations didn't feel like strong enough for me. You know what I mean? It just wasn't clicking with me as much. Like, you should be more pissed off at Darkseid than anything else. So that's just my gripe with Cyborg Superman. I felt like a better example of this done right, where someone blames the hero, was in Aquaman. When Aquaman just lets Black Manta's father die, even though he had the power to save him. Like, because he was in that situation. Like, he could have saved him, but he's like, no, fuck you. Well, you've been a dick to me. And he just walks out and leaves, and he created an enemy. And I'm like, okay, I understand that better than, Cyborg Superman, where Superman was nowhere to be found. He wasn't present at all. So that's just my issues with the Cyborg Superman motivation. He does make a formidable foe against Superman. And something that I did like, Superman does come back with the mullet. The mullet is hilarious. As soon as he steps out, I'm like, you better have that mullet. He better have that. He comes out with the mullet, and I just cracked up. I'm like, yes, the mullet. The 90s are back. The mullet was great. The mullet stuff was, I love seeing the mullet on screen. And, yeah, so that's good. The Justice League gets, kind of pushed out of the picture to make way for, the Reign of the Superman characters. Lois definitely has an important factor to the plot, and so does, Hank Henshaw, or not Hank Henshaw. Yeah, he's the villain, like Cyborg Superman. John Henry Irons definitely does. The Eradicator is just kind of just like this, Kryptonian protector over Superman. Let's get into this post-credit sequence, because, as you know, Darkseid is the reason for all this happening. Darkseid gets teased like he's going to fight, and then he gets kind of like locked out so Cyborg Superman can take down Superman himself, because he blames him for the death of his wife. And there is a post-credit sequence. Now, in this post-credit sequence, the Watchtower has been sent up into space. I guess one more thing before I get into that. With Connor Kent, he gets sent to live with Kon-El. He gets sent to live with the Kents, which is great. Although I would have really, really loved to have seen Kon go and join up with the Teen Titans. If they would have given me that, I think that would have been great. Because in the previous movie, you do have like a brief Damian cameo, but you don't have a cameo of the other Bat family members. So maybe they're going to have the Bat family members come into play, later on. But I don't know. I think they're doing Hush with the same cast. But we shall see how they adapt that. But yes, I would have liked to have seen a mid-credit sequence where Kon joins like the Teen Titans. That would have been perfect for me. But but unfortunately no. But the post-credit sequence is brilliant. So the League is up in the Watchtower, and then all of a sudden they're like, we got to take the fight to Darkseid, because Darkseid's, he's getting here. He's going to come. He's going to try and take over Earth. We got to bring the fight to him next time. And then the League's up in the tower, and then out through the doors pops Lex Luthor, and he's wearing his classic like Legion of Doom's attire. And he's like, "Hello, everyone, I'm here," or something like that. And then Green Lantern's like, "All right, who left the door open?" And then everyone in the theater just busted out laughing, because Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion voiced him. Pretty spot on casting. Nathan Fillion is great as Hal Jordan. Like, he's like the perfect Hal Jordan. Although I really like that guy who voiced him in Justice League War. But Green Lantern's really funny. Lex Luthor is great in this, and I'm excited to see what they have coming up next. I'm not sure what they're going to do in terms of like their shared continuity. We'll know more by July, but I would like some follow-up movies and continue the storyline, or maybe like a series that continues this. So, but yes, this double feature was great. I feel like it rivals Dark Knight Returns as like some of the best stuff that DC Animation has pulled out until as far as two-parters go. It really fleshed out the story, which was great. So yes, I really like this movie. Get the chance to definitely check it out. Not sure what else to add, but definitely go check out Reign of the Superman, and definitely check out Death of the Superman. You have to watch Death of the Superman before you watch Reign of the Superman, though. I mean, you can basically understand the gist of the storyline, but it really helps to rewatch that movie before you watch this one. Because if you watch them back to back with no distractions and complete focus on the plot of the movie, you're really going to dig it, I think. So, yep, that's all I got to say. Looking forward to what DC Animation has next. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you next time, and yeah, go check out the movie. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you later.